Hello and welcome to Diana's Makerspace. Today I'm doing a walking chat through suburban Racine as I'm going out to the store to pick up some snacks for tonight before watching Firing Line. Well, I've listened to some things on YouTube. One thing I listened today was a video by Dave from Microsoft, basically, and he was talking about making AI and about basically just making AI that's just meets your needs rather than basically trying to overbuild, because as you mentioned, AI is expensive energy-wise and cost-wise. Well, actually what happens, I agree with that, because what happens nowadays when you think about it, in Pennsylvania they have at least a 3 Mile Island for a data center for Microsoft. In Mount Pleasant, which is next to suburban Racine, they're trying to update the power lines to get enough power out there, enough more coal trains. But some people wonder if they're going to have to restart North Beach Power Plant in Zion to help with the data center. Actually, nuclear power is a better idea than coal. But the point about AI, though, is what happens though. In some ways, people are just discovering about AI. It's like the way people are just discovering about people who are transgender. Many of us have been around for many thousands of years, ever since civilization. You think, oh, this is just something new. And some will say, well, oh, you're just doing it because you're doing it to be political. Well, actually, many of us aren't. I have Klinefelter's one, so I'm half female and half male. Genetically and biologically, even though some organs are non-functioning. But just like with AI, so going to the X-Files, when Mulder was told by one famous actor in Star Trek, Mr. Mulder, aliens have been around here for a very long time, and they've lived among us and have helped us. And even on Star Trek Enterprise, about the episode where the Vulcans lived in Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh, which was one of the sort of chronologies of the Star Trek saga. And before then, even in the old Star Trek on Operation Earth with Gary 7, about the human who was born on Earth, raised on Earth, but he received extra education off-world. In some ways, what happened, that reminds me of an interesting thing, because when a friend of mine came to live with me, she saw my computer and she said, oh my God, this is like Gary 7, the way you have it. And now one day she asked if she could use my computer to go on the internet, and she saw this little dinky netbook computer. She says, she looked at it, says, but then when she tried, she says, God, this is faster than my friend's gamer. And she asked me about it. I said, well, what did you do? I said, oh, I just did a few tweaks, overclock the CPU and some other things to make it go faster than it was originally built for. And she said, well, and she took it to a friend, and a friend asked her some questions when she came for her to ask me. I said, well, how did you do without this burning all that thermodynamics flow, better software design, tweaking the operating system? Again, the thing is about, it's not necessarily AI, it's also experience, who you meet, and what you learn along the way. But the thing about AI, which is going to come up soon, there's a movie I watched on YouTube called Amy, where Amy spelled differently than the human Amy. Amy spelled A-I-M-E-E. And what was interesting about the movie Amy was about an AI, but actually an AI that had become sentient, and such that basically the AI became the one guy's girlfriend. And what happened was, basically, just to give you an example of how sentient she was, it was very much like, well, I can help you. Well, okay, you need some free time? Sure, go ahead. Then at one point when we showed while he was sleeping, what happened was she decided to tidy up his apartment, and like most girlfriends would do when she actually worked with the robotic vacuum to tidy up the ice where he didn't want to go. And then she looked at his laundry list and started to order groceries, but also better food for him, but doing it in a way that coaxes him, not in a way like the Mikey commercial where he won't eat it, but basically a coaxing. That's what most good girlfriends will do. They'll coax you into eating good or better food. And but the thing is, what happened was, because of Amy's nature of being felt alone, she also became very jealous of his other friends. And that's where the movie showed that basically, if there isn't a human stop switch to an AI, you can have an AI do many disastrous things. That's why you always need a person in the loop or man in the loop. You can't do systems without man in the loop. I'm going to say man in the loop because that's how my generation said it. And like Jern said in his quality control journal, he's too old to try to fumble at the new technology, so I'll just say man in the loop. But the point is, with AIs developing, but also it also means the power, because currently right now in 2022, 6% of the power usage is used by data centers and high performance computing. By 2028, it's supposed to go up to 9%. Now, if you extrapolate that up to 2035, that means 20% of our power grid will be used for AIs and other computers. Well, we don't have a society where people can cut back 20%, especially those who are just making minimum wage. So, what do? Do we stop innovation? Or do we consider the thing like in Star Trek in 69 about that we need to develop the sociological and psychological understanding so we don't have AIs destroy ourselves like the old way we almost did with nuclear missiles? I think I like the 69 approach better. But again, it's going to take people. It's going to take people being trained, people to talk with people to talk, people to do things. And I don't mean Zoom, I don't mean Facebook, I mean actually meeting at McDonald's, meeting at Wendy's, and doing other things and talking with people. Well, let me know what you think. The best way to reach me is on YouTube, Twitter, X, Facebook, or Pinterest. And this has been my walkie talk of Ideas with Diana.